At 83 years old, I could barely climb the 3 steps of my porch. My joints would inflame with any effort. But I noticed something that deeply bothered me. People of my generation who kept moving with ease, who weren't bedridden, who had vitality. And the difference between them and me wasn't genetics. It was what they put into their bodies every day, first thing in the morning when the metabolism is most receptive. Como se investigar, not on the internet. I talked to long-lived people in my family, in my community, and one thing showed up in common among almost all of them: a morning preparation, simple, warm, that nobody calls a superfood, but that should be. And when I started including this preparation in my routine, with the right adjustments I'm going to show you, something changed in me in less than 3 weeks. I want you to pay very close attention to what comes next. Tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I read every single comment. Everyone talks about protein for muscles. Everyone talks about calcium for bones. But almost nobody talks about what happens to mobility when an elderly person's body enters a state of silent chronic inflammation. Silent inflammation is what steals the strength from your legs. It's not age itself. It's the inflammatory environment that builds up in the body over the years, and that is literally fed by what you eat every single day. What I discovered is that this morning preparation, when made with the right ingredients in the right proportion, acts directly on that inflammatory environment. It gives the body compounds that help regulate the inflammatory response, nourish muscle tissue, and support joint mobility, all at the same time, in a single meal, first thing in the morning. And do you know what's most surprising? Most people who consume this preparation every day have no idea what it's doing inside their bodies. They think they're just eating. But they're actually creating an internal environment that resists muscular aging in a way no conventional medication can replicate. I've been applying this to my own body for 8 years. Before continuing, I want to ask you something very simple right here in the comments which state you're watching from, because I want to know if what I'm about to reveal is reaching the right people. The porridge I drink every morning is not just any porridge. It's a specific combination of ingredients that together create an effect in the body that none of them would create on their own. The base is whole rolled oats, but not the way most people prepare it. I leave it soaking since the night before. This long hydration is not a detail, it's the central point. It's what preserves and activates the bioactive compounds in the oats, especially beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that directly feeds the intestinal microbiota. And a healthy intestinal microbiota is directly linked to the reduction of systemic inflammation. That's silent inflammation that destroys muscle tissue over the years without you noticing. The next day, when I warm up the oats, I add whole milk. Not skimmed, not modified. Whole. Because the elderly body needs quality fat to absorb certain nutrients, and removing the fat from milk at this stage of life is depriving the body of an essential absorption vehicle. Then I add ground golden flaxseed, not whole, ground, because the whole seed passes through the body without being absorbed. Ground, it releases omega-3, lignans, and plant protein with high bioavailability, exactly the type of protein that the body after 70 years can absorb and use efficiently to maintain and rebuild muscle tissue. Next, mashed ripe banana. Ripe banana has a significant amount of potassium, and potassium is the mineral directly responsible for muscle contraction and relaxation. When the elderly body has low potassium, the legs feel heavy, cramps appear, and stability decreases. Ripe banana also offers progressively released carbohydrate, which sustains muscle energy throughout the morning without causing a glycemic spike. And finally, cinnamon. 1 level teaspoon, but every day. Cinnamon has documented anti-inflammatory action in dozens of studies. It helps with glycemic regulation, which reduces the internal inflammatory environment, and a less inflamed internal environment is one where muscle is preserved, where the joint breathes, where the legs hold up with much more firmness. 5 ingredients, 1 preparation, every morning, for 8 years. It's not a miracle. It's consistency with the right ingredients, in the right form, at the right time. Now tell me, are you going to try it or not? Let me know in the comments. I remember the day I realized something had truly changed. It was an ordinary morning. I got up, went to the backyard, and only realized after a few minutes that I had forgotten to pay attention to my knees. That may seem small to someone who is 40 years old. For me, at 84 years old, it was like recovering something I thought I had lost forever. I didn't go back to being 20. I don't have that illusion. But I regained control. I regained stability. I went back to climbing steps without holding the railing with both arms. I went back to walking through the backyard without calculating each step out of fear of falling. And that, for someone who has reached where I have, is worth more than anything. I am 91 years old. I wake up every morning, prepare my porridge, and live my life on my own legs. I don't ask you to believe me. I ask you to test it. I ask you to observe your own body with the same curiosity I observed mine. Because aging is not a sentence, it's a process, and processes respond to what you do with them.